Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, let's talk about something every company has, an IT budget. But what if a chunk of that budget was just disappearing, silently draining away into a maze of really complex invoices? Well, today we're going on a hunt for those hidden costs.
And you really have to ask yourself this, because the answer, more often than not, is a quiet yes. Money is leaking out drip by drip through invoices and processes that are so complicated, it almost feels like they were designed to hide things. And you know how it goes. Those little leaks, they can turn into a massive flood.
Just take a good look at that number. $100 million. And no, that's not a company's valuation or its annual revenue. That's the potential cost of a single, very widespread problem. That's right, $100 million lost simply to overpayments. And as totally staggering as that number is, believe me, it's just the tip of the iceberg.
This whole issue has a name. It's called FWA, which stands for fraud, waste, and abuse. And when those three things come together, they create a perfect storm of financial loss. So to really understand it, we first need to see just how bad the damage can be. Let's dive in.
So what is the true cost of FWA? As we're about to see, the damage goes way, way beyond the number you see on some inflated invoice. Okay, so here's the crucial point. FWA doesn't just hurt you in one way. Yes, you've got that direct hit from overpayments, a massive $100 million. But look at the ripple effect. $50 million in missed opportunities. That's money that could have gone into growth, into new projects. And then another $25 million in legal costs, from all the investigations and disputes. The total damage is so much bigger than the initial fraud itself.
So how does this actually happen? Well, it's time to meet the usual suspects. These are the common schemes used to siphon money right out from under your nose. First up on our list is phantom billing. And yeah, it's every bit of sneaky as it sounds. It's when a company gets a bill for a product or service that, well, it never actually existed. It was never delivered. It's a ghost in the financial machine.
And that right there gets to the heart of the problem. We're not talking about simple typos here. These are completely made-up charges, but they're designed to look legitimate. And that's what makes them so incredibly hard to catch. Next, we have a pair of crafty cousins, unbundling and upcoding. So unbundling is when a vendor takes one service you bought, breaks it into all its little individual parts, and then bills you for each one to drive up the total price. Upcoding is a bit simpler. They just bill you for the premium version of a service when you only got the basic one. The goal for both is exactly the same, make you overpay. And then there's maybe the most damaging suspect of them all, the kickback. This is an inside job. This is when a vendor secretly pays an employee to make sure their company gets the contract, and usually it's at an inflated price. It just completely corrupts the whole process from within. Okay, so we've met the suspects, but how do they get in the door in the first place? You see, fraud, waste, and abuse don't just happen in a vacuum. They find and exploit weaknesses that already exist inside an organization. These schemes thrive when these four internal doors are basically left unlocked. When there's no real oversight, and your procurement processes are weak, the wrong vendors get in. And when contracts are managed poorly, and you have no clear view of your own data, well, they can pretty much do whatever they want. It's a systemic failure.
All right, enough about the problem. Let's talk solutions. This isn't a hopeless situation, not at all. We can build a really powerful defense against FWA. And here's the toolkit you need.
A strong defense isn't just one single action. It's a three-layered system. It all starts with governance. That means clear rules for everyone. Then you add controls. Those are the day-to-day checks and balances. And finally, you verify everything with regular audits. You really need all three layers to be secure. Now, what's really interesting here is how these different types of audits all work together. Internal audits check if you're following your own rules. Reconciliations are that ground-level work, matching every single invoice to a purchase order. And then third-party audits bring in a fresh pair of outside eyes to see what you might have missed. You need all three for a truly robust defense. But even with the best controls in place, things can still slip through. And that brings us to our final and, honestly, our most powerful tool. In the modern fight against FWA, the best detective isn't a person, it's data.
I can't overstate this. Every invoice, every contract, every usage log, it all creates a data trail, a trail of digital breadcrumbs. And if you know how to read it, that data will tell you exactly where the problems are hiding.
So how does it actually work? Well, this chart shows that the lion's share, 60%, comes from something called anomaly detection. This is where analytics algorithms automatically sift through mountains of data just to find the outliers, the charges that don't fit the pattern. It's the automated version of one of these things is not like the others. So just think about what this means. You can have a system that not only spots unusual patterns happening today, but it uses that same data to predict where the next problem might pop up. It makes invisible trends visible and automates the controls. It's basically like putting a digital detective on the case, 24/7. Ultimately, fighting FWA isn't about any single tool or policy. It's about building a comprehensive defense system. One that safeguards your finances, protects your reputation, and ensures that you're in compliance.
So, let's boil it all down to 3 key things to remember. 1. Be proactive. Build your defenses before you find a problem. 2. Make it a collaborative approach. This is a team sport for your entire organization. And 3. Stay vigilant. This is a continuous process, not a one-and-done fix.
And that brings us to our final thought. Every number in your IT budget, every single line on every invoice is part of a much larger story. The data is talking. The only question is, are you equipped to listen? Thanks for joining us for The Explainer.